We've got Zafar Islam, spokesperson of the BJP, with us. We've got KC Singh, former diplomat, and Abdul Nawaz Bukti, representative of the Baloch Republican Party at the UNHRC, and we have our Deputy Executive Editor Zaka Jacob from our newsroom as well. Abdul Nawaz Bukti, if I could come to you first, what does getting political asylum in India mean to you, and has the Indian government reached out to you in some level as well about this?
It is indeed a huge diplomatic achievement if the Baloch leader, especially Nawab Ramdar Bukti, could get political asylum in India, because in Switzerland he has been living in 6 years. Over the past 6 years he has been living here, and he has been highlighting the Baloch issue in United Nations and other parts of the country through demonstrations, and our political party BRP has been not only in Balochistan but also in Europe and other countries as well. So this, actually there is no official offer from the government of India until now, but we hope that there will be some official statement and official offers from the government. And also our party is going to hold its central committee meeting in 19th of September, and there we will decide whether or not to make an official request from our party for political asylum of our leaders. And apart from that, there are many people in Balochistan, outside Balochistan in Afghanistan. They are in, as my president told you, they are in miserable condition. They are suffering a lot, not only from the attacks of Pakistani government and security forces, but also from other countries that refugees normally face. In countries like Afghanistan, it is very difficult for anyone to stay. And from India, there has been no support whatsoever up until now, and the statement made by Prime Minister Modi is a huge development for us, and we hope that this kind of support will continue, and India will play its part in putting an end to the sufferings of Baloch people, which they are facing atrocities by the Pakistani government.
Right, Abdul Nawaz Bukti. Abdul Nawaz Bukti, if I could ask you, would you and other Balochistan leaders, members of the Balochistan Republican Party, be waiting to listen to Sushma Swaraj at the UNGA on the 26th of this month? Would you hope that this particular move finds mention in her speech at the UN General Assembly in some way?
Of course we do, because we have been raising our issue, and we have been hoping for diplomatic support from India and other countries for a long time. And recently, here in Geneva, the Indian mission has spoken about the human rights violation in Balochistan and POK, and we have welcomed that step, and we hope that Ms. Sushma Swaraj is also going to take up the issue of Balochistan on General Assembly of the United Nations. So it would be a very big step and a very huge development for the Baloch struggle and the human rights violations that are being committed on a daily basis. So it is the responsibility. We hope India is going to take its responsibility and play its role in highlighting the Baloch issue on such a huge platform.
Right.
Abdul Nawaz Bukti, we know that there were protests by the Baloch sort of expat community at New York, at the UN, outside the UN a couple of days back. We spoke to Brahmagan Bukti, and he says on the 20th you're planning a big protest. Can you give us a little more details about what this protest is? And I'm also asking you this question in light of what the Prime Minister said in his Independence Day speech. Do you feel at the UN and other international fora, you've been representing your party at the UNHRC, do you feel there's a lot more international attention on this issue this year compared to previous years? Like, are more countries walking up to you and asking you about the plight of your brethren?
Absolutely, because there has been never been such support from any country, despite our efforts for years. Like, we have been working in the United Nations Human Rights Council for past 3 years, and many of us are doing that for more than 10 years. And we have been regularly organizing protest demonstrations, awareness camps, but we have actually gotten no actual diplomatic support from any country, and nobody has spoken up about the Baloch issue. And now, after the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement on Independence Day, there is a huge international awareness. Like, more people are talking about Balochistan. Even if you look at your media, there has been no attention from any media including Indian media.
What is happening though back home? I mean, I'm sure you're in touch with your brethren, your friends and family back home in Balochistan. Has this led to any kind of stepping up of reprisal from the Pakistani state, more sort of operations by the Pakistani military trying to crush your voice of dissent, especially in the last month since the Prime Minister made that speech?
Exactly. Since the Prime Minister made the speech, since 13th of August to be exact, there has been a military operations going on in every part of Balochistan, especially in Dera Bukti and Nasirabad region, where the Pakistani forces have been using air force, including gunship helicopters and ground forces, the military against civilian populace, and there have been more than 100 people being killed during these up until now, and there was a mass grave discovered in Sui region where 12 of the previously abducted Baloch soldiers were found dumped, and this continues. We are going to highlight more statements at UN Human Rights Council. We hope that India also put the UNHRC will highlight the issue in Balochistan and put some time to end the atrocities being daily.
A point as well, Zaka. Abdul Nawaz Bukti, do you feel that by referring to Balochistan and by offering political asylum to leaders from that region, India is making it a part of international discourse? So whenever we have talks with any foreign leader, this is something that India can always bring up, and this is the first step.
Of course, it can be a part of discourse by the Indian government, because the way Pakistan is exporting terrorism and using the terrorist activities inside the Indian territory, including the Jammu and Kashmir, they have been doing it openly. I mean, they have been raising the internal issues of India on every international forum. And for Indian part, India has always been silent on the Balochistan issue, and including human rights violation in POK and other regions of Pakistan. But this strategy that has now the Indian government has adopted seems to be a very, very positive development, because Pakistan is, if we say it very frankly, Pakistan is a terrorist state. It has been using terrorism and exporting terrorism to other countries, including to fight U.S. forces in Afghanistan. From the very forces, they received billions of dollars in aid, and they used terrorism to attack them. The fact Osama bin Laden was discovered in Abbottabad, few miles away from the military headquarters, and also Mullah Umar in Balochistan, where they have made safe havens for terrorists. So it is a well-known fact now. I mean, every country in the world knows that Pakistan has been using terrorism to further its evil agendas. So it is a very positive development that countries like India, and we hope that also United States is going to condition its, at least they can condition the aid to the human rights violations that are happening in Balochistan.
Abdul Nawaz Bukti for joining us all from Geneva, and our Deputy Executive Editor Zaka Jacob as well. With that interesting debate, we're taking a short break. Back with much more.